after midnight. The dog was lying on the grass in the middle of the lawn in front of Mrs. Shear's house. Its eyes were closed. It looked as if it was running on its side, the way dogs run when they think they are chasing a cat in a dream. But the dog was not running or asleep. The dog was dead. There was a garden fork sticking out of the dog. The points of the fork must have gone all the way through the dog, because the fork had not fallen over. I decided that the dog was probably killed with the fork, because I could not see any other wounds in the dog, but I could not be certain about this. I walked onto her lawn and knelt down beside the dog. I put my hand on the muzzle of the dog. It was warm. I stroked the dog and wondered who had killed him and why.
My name is Christopher John Francis Boone. I'm 15 years and 3 months and 2 days old. I like maths, I like outer space, and I also like being on my own. I know every prime number up to 7,507. I live with my father at 36 Randall Street in Swindon. I don't live with mother. Mother's dead. I have a pet rat called Toby. Most people don't like rats for pets because they think they're dirty or smelly, or that they carry diseases like the bubonic plague. Toby doesn't have the bubonic plague. Toby is very clean. Toby is very friendly. Now, I often find people confusing. This is for two main reasons. The first reason is that people often do a lot of talking without using any words. Siobhan, my teacher, says that if someone raises their eyebrow up like this, it can often mean many different things. It could mean that that person wants to do sex with you, or it could mean that that person thinks what you just said was very stupid. Now, the main second reason is that people often talk using metaphors. Now, the word metaphor means carrying something from one place to another. This means that the word metaphor is actually a metaphor. I think it should be called a lie, because a pig is not like a day, and people do not have skeletons in their cupboard. Well, I mean, they might do if they're a doctor or a surgeon or something, but if I try to make pictures and phrases in my head like that, it just confuses me. My name is a metaphor. It means carry Christ, but I don't want my name to mean carry Christ. I just want my name to mean me. Mr. Jeevons, the psychologist at school, once asked me why 4 yellow cars in a row made it a black day, and that's a day where I don't speak to anyone, and I sit on my own, reading my books, and I don't eat my lunch, and I take no risks. I just said I like things to be in a nice order. You know, like people who work in an office, and they come out of their house in the morning, and they saw that it was raining, and that made them feel sad, but they work in an office, so the weather doesn't actually have anything to do whether they have a good day or a bad day. Mr. Jeevons then said I was a clever boy, but I said I wasn't being clever. I was just noticing how things were, and that's not being clever. That's called being observant. Mr. Jeevons then asked me if it made me feel safe having things in nice order, and I said it did. I don't like big things changing. I like routine. I like order. Today, Siobhan, my teacher, told me that we're writing stories, and I like writing stories, so I decided to write about the time I walked home from school on my own. And that is why I'm telling you this story. I came out of school and went to get onto the bus, like I do every day when school finishes. But this time the bus driver was someone else. Now, it is not logical for me to get onto a bus with a different driver. It is not correct. Why is there a different driver? I asked him. I don't know you. The bus driver didn't answer. He just said, are you getting on the bus today, mate, or what? No, I don't know you. You might not be a real bus driver. I'm not getting on the bus today, thank you. Because I saw 4 red cars in a row on the way to school that morning, I knew it was a good day. And because it was a good day, I knew I could take risks. That's what I do when it's a good day. I'm allowed to take risks. So I decided to walk home on my own instead. I used to think mother and father might get divorced. That was because they had lots of arguments and sometimes they hated each other. This was probably due to the stress of looking after someone with behavioural problems like I have. Now, I used to have a lot of behavioural problems, but I don't have so many now because I'm all grown up and I can take responsibility for myself. These are a few of my behavioural problems. A, A, not talking to people for a long period of time, B, hitting someone if I get angry or confused, and C, not liking yellow or brown things and refusing to touch them. There's a boy at school called Terry, and Terry picks on me. Terry says that I will only ever get a job collecting supermarket trolleys or cleaning out donkey shit at an animal sanctuary, and that they don't let spazzers drive rockets that cost millions and millions of pounds. When I told this to Father, Father said that Terry was most likely jealous of me being clever than him. No offence, Father, no offence, but that's a stupid thing for you to think because we weren't in competition. But I am not a spazzer, which means spastic, not like Terry, who is a spastic. And even though I might not become an astronaut, I am going to go to university and study mathematics or physics and mathematics because I like mathematics and physics and I'm very good at them. But Terry wants to go to university. Father says that Terry will most likely end up in prison. Away from you, and their light has taken so long to get to us that they're probably already dead. I think I would make a good astronaut. To be a good astronaut, you have to be someone who likes being on their own, and I don't mind little spaces, so long as no one else is in there with me. It makes me feel safe. And I would like it if I could take my buddy Toby with me into space. And that might be allowed because sometimes they do take animals into space for experiments. I would still go to space because that would be a dream come true. It was 7 minutes after midnight. The dog was lying on the grass in the middle of the lawn in front of Mrs. Shears's house. Its eyes were closed. It looked as if it was running on its side the way dogs run when they're chasing a cat in a dream, but the dog was not running or asleep. The dog was dead. There was a garden fork sticking out of the dog. The points of the fork must have gone all the way through the dog because I could not see any other wounds in the dog. But I could not be certain about this. I walked onto Mrs. Shears's lawn and knelt down beside the dog. I put my hand on the muzzle of the dog. It was warm. I stroked the dog and wondered who had killed him and why.
So what happened next was